Hi everyone, my name is Luke Christian and I'm one of Phonax Heroes. In today's video I'm going to talk about what it was like for me growing up in a deaf family and having deaf family members. But before I begin, I want to know what you all think to my festive display. It's giving me all the festive vibes. Before I begin, make sure that you hit the subscribe button to Hearing Like Me, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. So for me, I was born deaf and my family, my immediate family, are all deaf as well, and the deaf gene in the family tree and throughout the family history is quite strong and it's quite prominent, and I come from at least 4 generations where the deaf gene is in our family, which is pretty cool, right? In my immediate family there's myself, my mum, my sister, and again we were all born deaf. I also have deaf uncles, deaf aunties, grandmas, granddad, great-granddads, great-grandmas, cousins, second cousins, like literally the deaf gene is just everywhere in our family. But as far as me and my immediate family are aware and that we know of, it kind of just stops there. But I would love to know just how far back the deaf gene in our family tree actually goes, but here in the UK it's a bit chuffing pricey to find out. Growing up with a deaf family is something that I didn't really think about or appreciate at the time anyway, because I think growing up for everybody as a whole is pretty hard. But it's only looking back now that I can sort of appreciate it and look back on the times where me and my sister were able to help each other out, like at school or with our friends. Maybe we hadn't heard something, so it's nice that we always had each other to fall back on. By the way, there's 3 years difference between me and my sister, and we both went to the same primary school together, but then I went to a high school, but I left it like halfway through year 9, and then I went to a deaf school, which for those of you that don't know, there's a deaf school here in the UK and it's called Mary Hare. Moving on, having so many deaf family members unites us in a way that makes us quite solid and strong, and I think it's nice again that we can fall back on each other and we can relate to like inside jokes that maybe hearing people may not necessarily understand or get, or they might even find offensive, but for us, like being deaf, we get it, and you know, it's like tongue-in-cheek and stuff like that. And I think sometimes that people can view being deaf as a negative or like a sad thing. And it was a couple of weeks ago and somebody said that, you know, oh, it's a shame that you were deaf and, you know, you've got deaf family members and things like that. But I think having that deaf bond is like a universal language. I'm not talking about sign language, but it's kind of like if you go to a different country or city and you see somebody else that's deaf, you kind of, you know, oh my god, same. And then straight away you've got that instant bond where you've met another deaf person and it's just like unites you, and I think that's a really positive thing. I think we should all embrace that a lot more. I hope you found this video insightful and it's given you a little bit more of a background in terms of my family history, and maybe now you'll see that my deafness and my sister and my mum, it wasn't, you know, random or like unplanned or anything like that. Like, it is a strong deaf gene that goes back years and years, and hopefully I would like to find out more about it just to see where it stops and how far back it goes and how it even came about. But like I said, if you've liked this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.